DuckTales 2, which is also a port of the NES one. Then we have Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge, followed up by Gargoyle's Quest, and we end up with Avenging Spirits.
Everyone's favorite game.
Everyone's favorite game, one of the most exciting speedrun games, but it's a tricky one.
Well, I really think Yoshi's Cookie is going to be an interesting game because it's different than the rest, really, that's on the list. So that one's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Like usual, we put a little puzzle game in between the more platform-like games, just to get everybody a little break. But the fun part about these puzzle games is that you can actually gain or lose a lot of time with these ones, depending on how good you are at them. And they don't always have a set way to go either.
Yeah, there's quite a different skill set involved with puzzle games, especially like Yoshi's Cookie, where RNG is a major factor in what puzzles you get.
Yeah, I'm still not sure if you actually get random stuff. I think the initial puzzle you see on screen is always the same.
The initial layout is the same, but the blocks you get after that are random.
If you know how to solve it, it's really easy to do, but otherwise you're just going to be struggling. Anyways, we should be talking about Crayon Shin-chan, one of the best cartoons / animes ever made.
And this speedrun is pretty straightforward. It's just pretty much mash the whole time.
Yeah, that's the second reason we start with this game, because it's a really mash-heavy game.
Yeah, very. You get that suit and you just mash away and fly over everything, pretty much.
Damn, Atros got to skip actually in level 2. What he did was try to hover just outside of the screen, and if you can manage that, you actually can fly over that little barrier there. Otherwise, you would have to drop down, get the chicken suit, and jump over it. But he got it immediately, which is actually a lot harder than it sounds.
Just noticed we don't have a timer. That's a classic.
Yeah, that's a trope for Tiny 10, actually. We never have a timer on.
Not at first, at least. And this time it's not my fault. It's been my fault 4 times, but this time it isn't my fault.
We've got a timer on the screen and commentator names. It just doesn't show up on the commentary feed.
Oh, that's
interesting.
Thank you, Fiesel.
So disregard that entire discussion there.
Yeah. So it's not a trope anymore, guys. I'm sorry. As you can see, most of the game involves using what some people call catsuit, what some people call a tanuki suit. I think it's actually a flying squirrel suit, so none of the above. And the use for that is you can keep flying, as we already mentioned, so you can go in a straight line most of the time. The other thing is you can actually shoot twice at the same time, because you have 2 leaves or nuts coming out of you. I have no idea what they actually are. And if you time it correctly, you can hit bosses twice by doing it perfectly, which makes them die in 2 shots most of the time.
In this part, Kanata and Bloody Candy are on. It's pretty funny because they want you to ride on the shopping carts, but you actually run faster than the shopping cart. So you just kind of run down these hallways and do nothing, pretty much.
Indeed. It's a really, really fun game. Even casually, it's really easy to get through. As you can see, you can take many hits if you pick up those smiley coins. You do not want to do that during a speedrun, because it gives you access to the bonus games, and if you do not have coins, you just walk on by. Otherwise, you would have to press right every single time you stop. But if you want to play it safe, just get some of those. Sad part is you lose your flying squirrel suit after taking 1 hit, so it's a little bit harder to actually destroy bosses with it.
If anyone watching says oh, this game looks fun, let me buy a cart, I'm very sorry to inform you that the Game Boy community bought every single card there is on the internet at this point.
I think that's actually probably true by now.
Quite a hard game to find, apparently.
Yeah, it's not an expensive game for collectors out there, it's just really, really hard to find. The other entrants in the series are a lot easier to find. And
No super
people-
expensive games this time.
Avenging Spirit would be the most expensive one for sure, which is around $50 for the US version, I believe.
It's nothing.
And I think the Japanese one is actually more expensive.
Yeah,
And
some
or something.
some entrants go out of their way to get every single card of these games to actually play on cart. Most of them just use either emulator or an EverDrive of some sort, though.
Yeah, you might see a little difference in between runners. Some people are using an emulator, some people are using the Super Game Boy 2 setup. Other people might be using the Game Boy Player setup, or even Game Boy Interface setup. Trying to speedrun Game Boy games is a real chore to figure out.
It's impossible.
It's really is impossible. If you do want to get started, as you can see on the screen, gbrunners.com, we have like a really comprehensive guide there to get you started. And we also have a tutorial for some of the games that get run during the course of this race. Mostly provided by Atros, who is in the lead right now.
Yes, he's not too far from the final boss here.
Which is also the slowest boss of this game, because you actually have to wait until he gets vulnerable.
Yeah, you just have to wait for him to climb a tree and walk over. No big deal during a speed run, right?
Looks like there's a nice squirrel suit right in front of the final boss fight.
Yeah.
It's really simple. It's not hard at all. You just have to wait. That's the only thing.
Waiting is really hard and while speedrunning.
Yeah, it's probably
It
one of
is.
the worst things you can do in a speedrun, just to wait.
I see SGB1 in chat and I disapprove.
He's on the Barbie Game Girl now, which is a really
Man.
fun game.
It's
Handle the lag.
It's a very interesting game. It's all because of John Carls that we actually had to put this in here.
I'm guessing this is also kind of an NES port.
It
Or is
is,
this
but
its own
actually,
game?
the NES version is actually slower than this, more laggy.
Oh,
Can you even imagine that?
Yeah, it's even worse.
There's
But
not
it
much
really
you
is
can
a
say
fun
about it.
game. It's just, there's a lot of lag involved.
Yeah, it's a pretty mediocre game, I would say, for the Game Boy library. There's nothing much to it. It's not, excuse me, hard at all.
Oh no.
if
Does
you
it
like,
Very easy. You just
For game girls back then.
if you like lag, Game Boy is definitely a system.
if you like lag and jewelry, then you should definitely go with Barbie Game Girl.
Neat.
Or DuckTales too.
Oh, and there's also this unskippable match game, so you have to just kind of, miss it on purpose about 8 times.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping, well, it could still happen to see, like, somebody getting a complete set of matches by accident.
Just RNG.
Just to ruin the run.
And you'll see that match game at least 4 times, I believe.
Yeah, it happens after every stage.
And Atros is already on the Little Mermaid.
Wow!
Yes, this game has a odd mermaid section just thrown in. There's a couple mermaid sections.
Luckily, they're also pretty short. Most of the time you just go in a straight line for this one. The other one you kind of have to go through a maze, which has 2 exits. The bottom one is the shortest one.
You can
Shoes
see
are
on
definitely.
Kanata. Go ahead.
I was gonna say something nonsensical, so you can just say what you want to say.
Well, I was just gonna say Kanata picking up the bug suit there, which is it's an easy way to go fast. So it's a lot. You don't have to mash so much if you want to use the bug suit.
Yeah, sadly it does not do more damage than a flying squirrel suit, so kinda stuck with having to hit bosses 4 times instead of 2 times.
Yeah.
There are a few skips in the level that Atros is on right now. Skips that are actually intended to be used in the game, as you can see. If you shoot certain spots, you can make boxes appear, so you can skip parts of the level. See, yeah, he got sugar cube skip, as John Carlos calls it.
I mean, that's what it is. Good old sugar cube. It's a very interesting game to say. The artwork and then just everything they picked to put in the game.
So I'm guessing in Barbie, you want to pick up as little bees as possible to not have to do this minigame, or how does it work exactly?
No. The bee is just something you throw in front of you. I'm not sure if there's actually a pickup that gives you more turns for the minigame. I think you always get 4.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything. Yeah, the minigame is just always the same, I think.
Well, they did get different items, so it's not set in RNG. So you could potentially lose time by connecting the correct ones.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
You saw Atros do the jellyfish boss. The fun part about this is you don't actually have to fight the jellyfish. You can just shoot the lock that has the crabs in it, and then you instantly win. And that only takes 3 shots instead of like 6 or 7 to defeat the jellyfish.
And also, if you have to fight the jellyfish, it doesn't have a good generous hitbox. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Bloody Candy beating the jellyfish by just throwing pebbles completely over it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very strange. Like, otherwise you defeat the jellyfish, and I think you then still have to shoot a lock to get them out. So when John Carlos was initially running this game, he was like, "Why am I not shooting the lock?" Or somebody in his chat pointed it out to him. Very weird programming for that.
You see 4 runners, but I think there's actually 18 runners complete running right now. So
There are 18 runners. If you want to check out 3 other ones that will constantly be there, I know Enemy, Infinite Mystery, and I'm not sure who the 3rd one is.
it's John Carlos.
Oh, it's John Carlos. Okay, well, they're on RGL right now, RGL TV. They will be portrayed there. We might switch out, well, we will switch out some people here and there to give everybody a chance to get some screen time. 17? I thought it was 18, but maybe PLD was also filling in a slot.
This part Bloody Candy's on is obviously great when you're speedrunning. You just kind of have to wait until you get all the way to the end there, and you can finally jump over. It's an auto-scroller, pretty much.
I mean, learning those ABCs takes time, man.
According to Barbie, the alphabet only has 6 letters. A, B, C, and X, Y, Z.
That's all you need. Troz is on the musical stage here. If you fall off, it's pretty annoying. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. You're just jumping, moving forward the whole time. There is some lag to deal with these these discs and CDs up here,
And sprites disappearing.
and also if you made a jump and you weren't going to make the second jump, so you had to jump back, and one of those CDs fell, you have to go back kind of far to get it to respawn. So that can be annoying too.
Atros is now one of the dumbest boss ever invented.
It has to be the most interesting, I'll just say that, boss of all time. It's got to be. You just jump on coins, make them spin to, I don't even want to say kill the jukebox. You just move past. You win. So that's it for that boss. It's very hard to explain what happens.
Yeah, very, very weird design choices in this game. It's unbelievable. Also, that was the final boss of this game.
Yeah, because the last stage here is just like a maze, and once you learn the pattern, it's a really quick stage.
Mazes are great.
Once you start playing in the beginning of this game, though, you can get lost in here quite a bit.
Atros is just about at the end of the game. Sadly, you still have to play a matching game.
And pretty much every door you go into is that you need to go into to get to the exit is pretty much the first door you come to. So there's like one or two doors you do differently, but every other one you just walk to the next door in front of you.
Atros, moving on to Popeye 2. This game
Bloody
was
Candy took a death there.
This game was picked by John Carls. Weirdly enough, Barbie Game Girl wasn't picked by John Carls, but Popeye 2 was. He saw me play it for the Game Boy System Challenge, and he was like, "Oh, you have to put this in." A lot of people weren't so sure I had to. This game is awful the first time you play it. It has some really strange mechanics that you might not even pick up when you're playing it blind. Like, you can see in the top of the screen you have a clock, and below it there's another thing, which is now blank, which is actually an extra spinach can, I will say. You can actually use these items, so the clock stops enemies, and the spinach will refill your health completely. The thing is that the game never explains to you, of course, how you have to do that, and it's by pressing select, or down and select, or up and select. That way you can use these items. And what's
You really
the
want
most
to make
baffling...
sure
Yeah, okay,
don't,
go ahead.
you really want to make sure you don't get hit in the speedrun, because you lose your like he's saying, the spinach can and your big arm. If you're going around trying to fight some of these bosses with the small arm, it's just really tough. So
It gets a lot more tough, yeah. And surprisingly, the most overlooked mechanic in this game is actually running. A lot of people figured that out like after 3 or 4 tries at this game. It just works like in a Mario game where you hold B and you run. But as your main attack is always gonna be B, a lot of people thought that the only way to get a speed boost was to punch and then go. And a lot of people didn't think about just holding down the B button, including myself, including Atros, including Kanata. It's very strange that we kind of overlooked that fact. And it makes jumping on some of the ropes later in the game really hard if you don't know you can just hold B to go faster.
What an amazing boss.
Yeah, you just smash.
Captain Duck has moved on to Popeye 2 now.
None of the games so far have had regional differences. The only game in this race that has regional differences is Gargoyle's Quest, because there's a lot of text you have to skip through. So the Japanese one is, of course, faster. We picked the English one for potential blind players because it's not always that obvious where to go in that game.
This waterfall
pretty
section
precise
can be
jumps.
tricky. Damage boost you can take up here to kind of skip a whole section coming up.
Yeah, sadly this game is not programmed that well, so sometimes you get hit 2 or even 3 times with a little damage boosting. You don't want that to happen. Usually helps ducking while jumping on the spikes here. Usually. I'm not gonna see he got hit twice.
Yeah,
Normally you only get hit once.
yeah, it's that knockback a little bit. It's it doesn't want to. They tried to make it where you can't get across there, but you totally can.
Oh man, it takes so long to destroy the rocks with the small arm.
Yeah, small arm is a big handicap here for the speed run.
Especially during boss fights, it's really hard to hit some of them because their hitboxes are, I wouldn't say small, but very precise. And the little arm just doesn't have the reach to actually hit most of the bosses.
It's a fun game once you figure out what's going on. At first it can be really frustrating though.
Yeah, Barbie's one of those games that's really easy to get into for speedrunning.
Yeah, it's just Barbie's just jumping over stuff pretty much. Can get a couple of spinach refills along the way here where Atroz is. And this is definitely one of the bosses that you don't want to have the small arm on.
Indeed. You can destroy her before she even starts moving backwards.
Looks like Atros is slowly building his lead here.
Yeah,
he's
everybody so far is doing really good, actually.
Yeah, there
It's
will be
almost
games
gonna have a
that
stage.
that some people practice less than others, so nothing
for
is
sure.
set in stone.
Buying all these cards. Good luck with Avenging Spirit. I hope you have enough money for that.
Is Avenging Spirit the most expensive one on the list?
Yeah, as far as I know. I think Castlevania 2 might be the second most expensive one, which usually goes for like, I would say $30. Well, it goes for 25 euros. I don't know, it's very weird when collecting Game Boy games. Sometimes the same game costs like $10 or euros less just because it's from a different region, although it's the completely same game with the completely same box art.
Hmm.
Avenging Spirit is different in every region, though. The box art, that is, not the actual game.
There's a difference in that circular instead of oval Nintendo seal of quality, man.
Well, sure, sure.
These underwater stages can be a little tricky, just like a Mario underwater stage where you have to kind of control your height and, you know, hold B to swim fast at the same time.
More jellyfish.
Yeah. So you see, you know, some of these guys running into the walls and stuff. It's not easy to control Popeye in the water here.
And this
Yeah,
is
certainly
this isn't
not.
even the Lost game that features jellyfish.
Nope, it's not. There's a team this year. Or this edition, I should say. Atros, like, took care of the dino boss in the normal way, where you punch the bottom of his neck. What you can also do is jump through him, so you're standing on his back and hit him from behind, which is slower, but a lot more safe.
Yeah, and he did it that way because he knew he had the life, and you just kind of swing and damage boost and swing and damage boost, and
Yeah.
you know, the dino or dragon or whatever is down.
Yeah, you can use the refill, your life refill, like at the end of each boss fight, because it gets refilled when the next stage starts. Also, a really fun fact about this game, you get a bonus stage after each boss fight. You can die in these, and you actually lose a life in the bonus stage. But it does skip the level.
That's interesting.
I would say I like this one better than the Popeye one for NES.
That's the Donkey Kong
Different
one.
style of game, yeah, that's the Donkey
Yeah.
Kong.
Yeah, I think some people were talking about that yesterday during Captain Duck's stream. Somebody pointed out that this looks like, well, a copy of a Mario game, which is interesting to me because Donkey Kong was originally a Popeye game, but because they lost the license, they had to make Mario. So you could kind of say that Mario ripped off Popeye. Just fun to think about.
They're making their way through Popeye pretty easily, so not too many troubles going on.
Yeah, again, the first time you might play this game, you will say, damn, this is a really bad game, but it gets really easy on the subsequent playthroughs. It's a strange game like that.
And there's a kind of weird thing with the jumps. Sometimes when you jump at a rope, you just kind of fall off. It's weird, but it only happens like once out of every 10 jumps or something, so...
Yeah, that's why you see when they have to go down somewhere, and there's a rope in the way. Usually you press down while falling, and it gives you less of a chance to grab onto the ropes. So it's easier to actually fall faster.
Bloody Candy died there in the death pit.
Oof.
He lost his arm, his big arm, and spinach.
And quite a bit of time, probably.
Yeah, you restart the entire stage. When you die in Popeye, there are no checkpoints in between levels.
These bosses are very well programmed.
Yeah, again, you can just go behind this boss and just keep on hitting him. And he's moving. Atros is moving on to the final boss, which is Viking Bluto.
Now, he is kind of annoying.
Yeah, he can like jump on top of you and then you can't hit him, or jump on top of the mast, I guess it's called.
Yeah.
And it's harder to hit him. You can now disqualify Atros for using cheats.
Moved on to Flintstones King Rock Treasure Island.
Very fun game. Very
is.
frustrating fifth stage.
The car stages, vehicle stages are just.
They are also.
I mean, you can take it
bothersome.
slow, but when you're learning for, a speedrun marathon, you can't do that. So you
Mm.
have to stay maxed out. Because you can pull back kind of on the accelerator, so to say.
Yeah,
But-
indeed. Flintstones is a pretty much straightforward platformer game with a few nudges to Adventure Island or Wonder Boy. But it has one distinct feature, and that's that you actually freeze enemies when you hit them the first time, and then you can use them as platforms, which is something that comes into play in the later stages where you have to use them to get across chasms.
And I think so far on the list up to this point, this might be the most well-made game so far, well-rounded.
Yeah, you could say that. I think Crayon Shin-chan is also well made, but it's just a little bit too easy and
Yeah, it's very
you can
short.
skip most of it. But yeah, Flintstones is like a very mediocre platform. It doesn't excel in anything, but it does have like a cool freezing.
Well, I
enemies feature.
definitely think the way better games on the list are definitely held for the end.
Yeah.
Indeed, yeah.
I'd say like all the ones coming up are like very good Game Boy games.
Yeah, at least I mean I'm not a huge fan of Yoshi's Cookie, but I know it's loved and well renowned. But at least for me, the last 5 are all really great. I mean, so
Yeah, some could argue that The Little Mermaid isn't like a very good Game Boy game, but
I think it's a really good speed game.
yeah, for sure. For people wondering why Atra's screen is looking so weird, Flintstones actually has a cheat code which you can enter at the start of the game, so at the title screen, and then you get inverted colors. And I pointed it out to him during his world records run for this during practice for the Tiny 10, and since then he started playing it like this.
What
And
would
most,
happen?
Go
Sorry.
ahead.
What would happen if you inverted the colors again in the Game Boy Advance?
Oh, yeah, that is actually interesting. Would it still be the normal colors then?
Now we can
Somebody
see one
check
of the
it out.
first vehicle stages here.
Yeah, looks like a side scroller. Isn't this not a scroller? I mean, isn't an auto scroller because you actually
Yeah, you have control of the
control.
speed.
Yeah. Of course, you want to be going really fast for a speed run, but sometimes you mess up.
It's really close to getting caught up there.
Yeah.
And in the bottom left, we get to see how the game is actually supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Right. John Carl seems to be coming toward the end of Popeye. I think Bloody Candy is close to the last stage.
I think he's at 4-2. Yeah.
What
Not
is
sure
the
where.
what is the emulator of choice for Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance? Oh boy.
Sore subject.
I'm not sure where Enemy or anybody else is right now.
Me neither.
I don't have any of those peripherals open to check those out.
Yeah, it's hard to discuss the choices of emulator. The obvious answer is BGB, BizHawk, and Gambit are used for Game Boy and Game Boy Color. VBA is used for for Game Boy Advance because there's no other option, sadly. But it's not a good emulator at all. It runs way too fast.
Okay, we got enemy now. Screen looks like he is on Flintstones, so he's keeping up there.
Yeah, everybody is surprisingly close to each other.
People
Charles
actually
is,
practice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people actually practice this time.
Well, last time was it? There was a lot of RPGs, wasn't it?
Just Pokemon.
Okay, I thought one of them. I don't know. I think I've only seen maybe one or two prior to this one. One of them had a lot of RPGs. I mean, I was just gonna say it's a lot harder to practice the RPG when you got 5 RPGs to play in like a month or two. You know.
Oh, for sure. I don't think I ever picked an RPG besides Pokemon.
And
Oh,
can we
okay.
really call Pokemon an RPG?
Yeah. Sure. It's its own thing, I would say.
The majority of these games tend to be platformers because they're the most accessible to speedrunning.
Yep, Game Boy is probably most well known for all of its puzzle games, sadly. But it does offer a lot of pretty decent platformers. So that's the most you'll see in these kinds of things.
And I'm not sure what kind of lift this is that Charles is on right now. I've always called it the artichoke, but
It's one of those sea turtle thingies.
Yeah, it looks like a turtle shell.
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I got you now. I've always thought it was an artichoke. Well, not really, but that's what I've always
That's
visualized.
the boss actually that you're riding.
Oh,
Voxelols. Oh god, no, Voxel.
the Tiny 10 Puzzle Edition.
I think nobody will show up for that.
Maybe Zelray would. Or
Like,
Arsenic
even
Revel.
I wouldn't show up to commentate. Like,
some games have a specific objective to reach, but some are full game runs. On
yeah,
the list
most
here.
of these are full game runs this time around, actually.
Yeah, what, like 7 out of 10 or something?
Yeah. Well, the puzzle game is
Yeah.
never, of course, a full game. Yoshi's Cookie on high would probably take like 4 hours.
If you're really good at it.
If you're
it gets
really
hard.
good at it, yeah. Yeah, I did a medium like 2 weeks ago, I think, and it took me like an hour and 15 minutes.
I did play through the entire thing at some point, but I can't
Yeah.
remember how long it took. A lot of stages.
And Boxelall levels with probably a 16-hour game. I think that was my time when I finished it. You can subtract 4 hours of crying though. Because I get really depressed when I have to play puzzle games.
So when are you finishing Cat Trap?
Oh god. I don't know. I really do not want to start, well, not over again. I think I'm at stage 40 out of 100.
Easy.
And yeah, it took me 2 hours to solve 39. And then I got stuck for over an hour on 40 and I had to give up. I couldn't do it anymore. I am not hosting the stream. Are you for real?
Mo's not even hosting his own tournament here.
No, that's great. I should do that. There we go. That's better. That would indeed bring in thousands of viewers. Minus 999. People might actually leave because I'm hosting this. Nitro's filling up the final car stage.
You think this might be the hardest Tiny 10 yet to do blind? Because of all the full game runs?
No, I wouldn't say so. I think Gargle. Oh, I can never pronounce that thing. Gargle. GQ is probably the most not blind friendly game, but the goal for it is pretty alright.
The goal isn't too far into the game, so.
Yeah, I have troubles pronouncing gargoyle. Probably has something to do with my mother tongue.
DuckTales 2 blind would be harsh.
Yeah, some of the levels are kind of maze-like in that one compared to DuckTales 1. For sure. And not having any continues is also a big problem.
You can buy
continues. You can buy them, yeah. But then you have to actually finish a level first. You can see Green Z Saber on stage 5. The section coming up there is probably one of the hardest sections in the game, where you have to cross the entire gap by using enemies. If you actually accidentally kill one, you're pretty much screwed.
I was making use of Dino here.
Another game with jellyfish.
Yep.
It's the hidden theme this time.
And there's more coming up.
It never stops. Atros is almost done with the final stage, and then he will move on to the final boss of the game, which normally is really easy, but I've proven many of times that you can easily screw it up.
Who is the main villain of Flintstones?
Nobody. I don't think they actually have a villain.
It's apparently Giant Black Skull.
Yeah, in this game it is, yeah.
It's appropriate.
He throws gems at you.
It's so fitting.
Mr. Slade, yeah, I would think Mr. Slade, but is he really a villain? I know he's the final boss in the other Flintstones game, but that one is based on the Flintstones movie. The excellent Flintstones movie. Who played him again? John Goodman? Yeah. Oh boy.
That's the one good thing about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea who the other people were in that movie. I also always forget the name of his little alien helper. Well, I don't even know what he is.
Alien helper?
Yeah, the green guy. Wazoo or Zazu? Or...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it's Zazu.
Zazu? Okay.
Or is that something totally different?
I'm not too familiar with the Flintstones lore.
Oh, yeah, me either, really. Gazu? I don't know.
The Great Gazu, alright. Ask me again tomorrow, and I forgot already again. I think people have told me 7 times this week already.
Zazu is the bird from Lion King. Alright, thanks, chat. Chat's always got your back.
There we go.
It's most of chat, anyways.
Atros is having some issues with his boss fight, so we
Yeah,
might
like
see
I said.
someone
He's
gaining up.
easy to mess up.
Well, he's still got a good chunk of lead here.
Yeah, Green Saber is probably the closest, unless somebody else is closer, but I really have no idea. I'm very sorry, other runners.
Very hard to keep up with 18 runners while also doing commentary on the games.
Yeah. He's down one of the. I think he's on his last vehicle stage here. Yeah, this is the second one.
Alright, Atros is done. Moving on to Yoshi's Cookie. This could be really fast or really slow.
Yeah, like I said early on, I think Yoshi's Cookie will definitely be one that's gonna, create a lot of either, just speed for people or gaps for people. It depends on how much you practice this one. So. As you can see, most of the rest of the games are, if not all the rest of the games, are pretty much some form of a side-scrolling platformer, and then this one is a puzzle game, gym game here.
Yeah, I don't know if was Yoshi's Cookie popular?
I thought it was, but I really don't know.
I think most people just went with the Tetris way back then. You also have normal Yoshi, which is a lot harder than this one, in my opinion. Where you have to make combos to get them in the neck or something. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to playing that at all.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite on the list, I can say that. But I've never been a puzzle fan, so wouldn't be a good judge of the
I
game.
just can't do them. That's the problem.
Everybody that that I talked to about the game, though, they really liked it. It seemed like so.
Yeah, I thought this was a very enjoyable puzzle game.
And the beginning of each stage is the same. It starts the same each time, but then there's RNG after that.
Yeah, what you want to do is take a quick look at how many of each cookie there are, so you know how which is the best one to combine with. You always want to end up with two of the same color, the same cookie at least, so you're not stuck with only one, because then the other blocks that will fall will create a mess. So you can immediately see, oh, if I put this there, there, and there, everything will disappear, but you do not have much time, of course.
Yeah, you really have to make split decisions, and they need to be right in order to go fast.
On medium speed, it's pretty okay up until World 7 out of 10. Then the other blocks, the other rows, will start falling at a really high speed. You can see if right now, when they are falling, they're pretty slow, but you can speed them up by pressing B up until a certain speed. When you go over World 7, they fall even faster than if you would make them go faster.
And
I
the
have
goal
no idea what is
the goal here, we're only doing to 2 Worlds 2 and 3, right?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 was a little bit too silly to to actually add.
Yeah.
The first goal was only World 2, but people said it was way too fast, so we just added another world, and it's not that much harder, so... green sea saber almost done there.
Bloody Candy
Yep,
coming up
there
to
he
the
goes.
big dino boss here. Big bird dinosaur or something.
It's
Got
a
a
turtle.
prehistoric bird. The what?
It's the turtle you're riding his back.
So I get, well, his neck is just wrapped around then, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure how his neck works. But
Something with physics doesn't agree with that.
they didn't think that one through very much. Yeah, Flintstones is actually a pretty clean speed game. There's not a lot of skips. It's mostly execution that you have to do. I think there's like 1 or 2 damage boosts you can do that save maybe 1 second. But besides that, it's not a technical run.
You need to. The only thing technical about it is making sure you freeze or stall your enemies in the appropriate spot so you can make your jumps, timely.
Yeah.
That's really it, though. I mean, there's nothing else to really worry about. Ooh, an enemy there. Hitting that enemy twice. And the first one you throw, freezes your enemy, so then it becomes a platform. But if you hit it twice, it'll kill the enemy. So his second axe there kept traveling as he jumped and right in the hole.
Yeah, not having Dino or is it Dino or is it Dino? I'm still not sure.
He is Dino.
Dino, okay. So, well, for this final part of the game, actually, if you have Dino, it's a lot easier to move up vertically through this level. There is one in this part, but getting it would be as slow as just going up with Fred. But if you do have troubles with the final skull platforms you have to create, you can get Dino there to make it just a little bit faster.
You can see on Bloody Candy here, he is choosing not to go as fast as possible in some areas. He's slowing down on the accelerator, which is not bad strats for a marathon because, ooh, he still left that one a little short, but these car stages are really, really tricky.
Luckily, you do get a lot of 1-ups during these levels, so...
And there is a checkpoint, in this stage.
Yeah, quite a few, actually.
Yeah.
Compared to the normal stages where you would have to do the entire stage again, these car stages, as they actually are just bonus stages, are a little more lenient when you die.
Enemy is on to the last boss here. Traz on 3-8, so he's making, good work of Yoshi's Cookie, and Green Sea Saber is not too far behind on 3-1.
Yeah, actually caught up during Yoshi's Cookie.
Done some really quick work of Yoshi's Cookie here.
He is in trouble now at this stage, it seems. Oh, there he goes. That takes care of 3-1. I don't know what's going on Captain Duck's thing, but that's going way too fast.
He was moving pretty quickly there.
That was funny to see. Okay, it's normal speed.
There we go. Now we're back to normal speeds. The part Captain Duck is on right now is easy. You just make sure you keep moving forward and jumping. If you do fall, you do have to do it all over again, make your way back up there, but just want to make sure you get by it on the first time so you're alright.
Yeah, if you have Dino, it's a lot easier. If you're only Fred, you might fall down a lot of times. Oh, when he loses Dino in a very silly way there.
Traz is moving on to the Little Mermaid, everybody's favorite.
Everybody's favorites.
It's a pretty straight port of the NES, I would think. Played both of them. I mean, they're pretty much identical.
They are, yes, mostly similar. Before the Tiny 10 actually started, this game was considered to be a much worse RNG hull than the NES version. But a lot of people started practicing this game, and they actually found out a lot of RNG manipulations for the boss, which makes this actually maybe even better than the NES version.
I find it to be a really pure, so to say, speed game all around.
Definitely, yeah.
I mean, the quality of the game itself, you know,
Yeah, it's
you can
debatable.
contest that all day long, but as a speed game, I think most speedrunners would appreciate this game.
It's a very fun game to race. It's very easy to learn. You can pretty much do it in half an hour. Because even casually you beat this game in like 15 minutes anyways. And it's like Kirby's Dream Land, I would say. It's if you want to start speedrunning Game Boy games, those are probably good ones to start with. Ooh, John Carl's having some trouble there with the vertical segment of the final stage of Flintstones.
He's having to learn that skull over there so he can place it just right, and he had it a little too low and he couldn't make the next jump, so he had to kill that one and wait for the next one. Yeah, I didn't think he put that one in the right spot. He needed to wait on the up swoop for the second time. There he goes. Didn't even need one for that one. This part is tricky though, especially when you get right here where there's these there's a little bit of lag coming from all these skulls, and then you have to line those up, but he got through there alright.
Looks like I missed the entirety of Atros 5's there.
Yeah. You're right, Knight. Trex is also a very good game to get started with Game Boy speedruns, and that game teaches you a lot about how to control lag in these games, actually.
Green Seed Saber, he's getting pretty close to knocking out Yoshi's Cookie and being the second player on the Little Mermaid, I believe.
I'm guessing you guys talked a bit about the Little Mermaid already.
Yeah, about how it's just kind of like the NES.
It's so much faster though. At least it looks so much faster.
Yeah, I think so too. It does seem to move a little faster.
So what is about the lead Atros has right now, you'd say? 3-4 minutes?
Yeah, definitely, because you got Green Z Saber. I think he's second place. He just started, you know, Little Mermaid. So
Well, Little Mermaid isn't a very long game, so...
no, but yeah, so about I would say about 3 minutes, you know, behind there. And that's a pretty, you know, to be on what, game 6. That's a pretty comfortable lead right now, I'd say.
There's some big RNG factors coming up though, which might take back the lead a little bit. Although, I guess bad RNG is for everyone.
Yeah, Gargoyle's Quest can definitely have some mishaps in there.
DuckTales 2 has the Mew boss, but Luckily, it isn't nearly as bad as on the NES version.
And thankfully, DuckTales 1 for the Game Boy isn't the the game of
boy.
choice here. Would not suggest that one to anyone.
Not the greatest of ports. Interestingly enough, though, both DuckTales games on Game Boy have completely different level layouts than the NES versions. It's just the physics in DuckTales 1 that are a bit off.
Yeah. It's definitely a bit off. And Huxley, you can see he's making work of the last boss on Flintstones. An enemy has moved on. He's on 210 of Yoshi's Cookie. So I have our front runner and our second place runner making work of Little Mermaid right now.
Yeah, Atros 5 already going into the final boss, I believe.
I think so.
Yep.
Yes, Ursula.
Definitely a very short game, even casually.
Yeah,
Shouldn't take you more than like 20 minutes to beat blind.
yeah. If you never played it, you know, you'd still beat it 30 minutes or something. Pretty linear, you know where to go. You don't get lost in the stages.
So yeah, going into DuckTales 2, a lot of this speedrun is lag prevention, knowing which enemies to kill, where to go. Very maze-like levels as well, but like there's a few pickups that you can get along the way. One that you saw Atros pick up right there that kills all enemies on screen and is a major help in helping cure lag issues. And then there's another item, the clock stopper, and that freezes all the enemies and that gets rid of all the lag as well. So definitely some interesting items to get.
It's a really fun game here, casually, and it's a fun speedrun as well. They did a good job with DuckTales too.
Did Tropical Freeze rip off the cane bounce mechanics from DuckTales? Yeah, most likely. So yeah, Atros starting with Mew Island, which has the biggest RNG factor in the game, and that is this boss coming up. This boss can only be hurt if you knock a rock that falls down back at him and then jump on his head. But he can either spawn rocks or just punch his fists, and he's known to just punch his fist a million times and not give you anything to work with. There is a thing you can do here that lets you get a double hit, but yeah, Atros got it right there. That is a fairly lenient window you get there to do it, but you need a rock to spawn on the correct position.
I'm not sure if Floatius has played this. Maybe this is a blind game for him. I'm not sure, but doesn't seem like he knows where to go right now. Popeye, these underwater stages are pretty large. A lot of area to explore if you don't know where to go. So, could be.
He did mention that he was playing some of these blind, yes.
Yeah.
Looks
Really
like
good.
Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say Float is a really solid runner though, so if he knew where to go, he would definitely be going.
Looks like Atros is choosing to do the hardest stages, at least speedrun-wise, first, which is a viable tactic.
Indeed.
Yeah, the Mew Island is basically hard in a speedrun because of the RNG, and if you get bad RNG, you want to be set on that boss as early as possible. This stage, however, Scotland, is just one giant death pit, so it's really easy to mess up and just die.
Yeah, you have to wait for those little platforms to come out. Just like he said, I mean, it's just one big death pit, pretty much.
And luckily, unlike the NES version, this one doesn't eat your inputs on those moving platforms.
Yeah, that would really make it just a really one hell of a place to be.
Now, a lot of the NES runner stuff, DuckTales actually find this one to be a really good game compared to the NES version of DuckTales 2. Sadly, DuckTales 1 suffers from even more lag than this one.
And just bad physics.
Yeah. DuckTales 1 was in one of the previous Tiny Towns, though.
Green Sea Saber, he'll be moving on to the last Ursula boss here in a second. And then he'll be done with Little Mermaid. I think Atraz has got a little bit larger lead than he had when we were talking about it before.
Mm-hmm.
He has probably been practicing the most out of everybody. He also got 3 or 4 world records in all of the games.
A lot of world records changed hands during the practicing for Tiny Tim,
Yeah,
didn't it?
definitely.
Atros just entered Niagara Falls, and we'll see the laggiest Game Boy section in any Game Boy game ever coming out. First of all, you're gonna see him pick up the clock stopper here, which instantly cures all lag. Fish keep jumping out of the water, and it just slows down the game completely normally. So that clock is a great thing to have right there.
Yeah, if you didn't get that clock, it's terrible through here with the lag. The fish, like you said, they're non-stop, so just the lag is pretty much non-stop.
Yeah, we see these falling platforms are like game enders. I don't know. They just stop the game.
Oh. That was risky right there.
Here we go. This is the laggiest section in a game you'll ever see.
Alright, you made it over there. That part is always scary with that lag. And then a lot of times you jump a little too early because of the lag and you hit the bird, excuse me. You just fall right back into that hole.
Not sure if it's laggier than Mega Man 5, no.
Overall, Mega Man 5 is a lot laggier.
Yeah.
Just that specific section. So what you can do in DuckTales 2 is buy extra health, and that makes some of the bosses a lot more manageable. They are playing on easy though, so they have twice the amount of health, so it isn't necessary to get some of the quick kills. If you're playing on difficult, however, getting the extra health is almost essential, especially for the final boss. And it only wastes I'd say 2 seconds to pick up both health pickups if you do it at the correct time.
And the final boss for this game is really easy.
He really is, yeah.
There's like a little pixel to get in that you're pretty much safe.
So again, there's a clock stopper on the section Atros is on, and it's a godsend because with the lag and the fish jumping up, or is it birds flying about, it gets really hard to time those falling rings. and like with lag, it's impossible to know when exactly they're gonna fall. So this pirate boss coming up is awful because they had to cram all 6 of those rings into the Game Boy port, and it fills everything up, and there's no place to move. It's just an awful boss design, this one.
Enemy is fighting the seal boss there. Have to wait for it to throw you the seashells to hit it with.
Yeah, again, there is RNG manipulation possible for this boss, where it just keeps dropping the shells one after another.
I believe Atros is already on the final actual stage. After this one, he'll need to re-enter what is it? The Bermuda Triangle to fight the final boss, but that's only like a quarter of a stage he has to do, not even.
Yeah, the last area and boss is like the simplest part of the game.
You go right, and that's it. No enemies, no one. Just you break a barrel and you're there.
Yeah, you go read a Sea Saber died to Captain Duck, I guess he's called. Not to be confused with a runner. Just because, yeah, you have almost no maneuverability during this fight.
You think you do, but
you really don't.
you just get glued to those rings and you can't move.
I don't know how far we are in the race right now, time-wise, but some of these runners might possibly get us up to.
We are over halfway, at least.
Yeah. Like, nobody has been able to actually get us up to during practice. But, like, the combined PBs definitely go under 2 hours, so it is possible, we'll see.
Very nice boss kill there on Atros' side.
Yeah.
And it looks like Green Saber is right behind him, but in this game you can pick what stages you do first, so he's still quite a few stages behind, actually. So yeah, we go back to the Bermuda stage, and you go right, and you basically just walk into the final boss instantly.
The D1000.
Well, looks like Green Saber took a wrong turn.
Yeah, Pyramid stage is definitely the most confusing one out of all the stages. It's easy to get lost.
So yeah, this boss fight is super easy.
Yeah, you just stay under the angle of his feet there, or I believe it's his feet he's kicking out with.
Yeah, when he's coming down, he doesn't have a hitbox, so you just jump through him.
Moving on to Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge. It's a really fun game if you like Castlevania, but you do need to be aware it functions a little slower than if you were to play like Castlevania on NES.
At least it's by design.
True, and it does have great soundtrack. A really great soundtrack.
Yeah, in this one it's by design. Sadly, the first Game Boy one was not by design. It moves.
Yeah, the first Game Boy one is
frames per second or something. It's
pretty awful. And also, everything you get hit by in the first game, you lose one level of your whip upgrade.
Yeah. In this one, it's only the balls that get shot out of the dragon
the
hats,
snakes.
I guess they are.
Yeah, I don't know what they're called. I've always called them snakes.
Yeah, they always look like hands to me that open up and like throw a ball at you. But
And this is this is a very interesting game as well as far as Castlevania because there's no like staircases. There's ropes in this one to deal with. There's a one cycle room coming up right here. Yeah, if you go down too far, you'll jump and hit the spikes. But that one's pretty easy. There's a tougher one later to get the one cycle room.
I don't know if this applies to Castlevania 2 as well, but in Castlevania 1 for Game Boy, if you fall down a rope, you die at the bottom of the screen. You have to climb down.
It's the same in this one.
Yes,
you actually
that's
have to climb.
And what do you know? More jellyfish.
More jellyfish.
This is the other one cycle room. No, he didn't get it, so he just waited. It is risky to go for, especially in a marathon. I mean, if you were doing, reset runs, you would definitely go for it. But he's got a good lead right now. No need to go for that.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those games where you're better safe than sorry.
Again,
Most
you can
definitely.
choose the stages just like in DuckTales 2, which one to go through first. So Atros is playing the one that actually uses the most damage boost to get through the level faster. So it's the most scary one for sure. And in this section coming up.
Green Saber getting some nice drops on the rocks, and missing the double hit right there. That's unfortunate. That means he has to do another cycle. And dies on the boss fight.
Yeah, this is the main difference between the NES and the Game Boy version. Although the RNG of RoboDuck is a lot better in this one, it's very hard to actually avoid the falling rocks, so it's easier to die.
Here to get
Since the Troz did the rope wheel skip back there, he's got to be, pretty careful up here. Make sure he doesn't take any kind of damage on the way to the boss.
Yeah, you can also only take one hit during the boss, which shouldn't be a problem, but sometimes this game likes to eat your inputs for throwing axes. So...
So you want to get where you can arch the axe to hit the top and the bottom with one throw. You just duck underneath those projectiles and you can finish it off with the whip. If he had swung like maybe a couple frames later on that first swing with his whip, he may have gotten hit by the bottom skeleton's projectile, but he got it done in time, so it didn't even get a chance to shoot.
Yep.
I can't remember if Castlevania 1 had sub-weapons.
For Game Boy, no. Don't think so.
No, the first one has the invulnerability cross, which you actually have to use in some parts because otherwise you can't get through. And there's something else, but I forgot it.
Now he's on to the Cloud Castle, I think, here. This is a pretty easy one. This is the one I usually do first. Just because it's the one it starts on. It's like highlighted over. It's really straightforward, though. A lot of just overhanging bats. I think they're trying to introduce you to like some of the gameplay here. Nothing real serious, though.
Yeah. Castlevania Adventure is hard because, well, first of all, it is that slow. It also has some very bad platforms in it. Like if you just miss one pixel, you're basically dead. But what every Castlevania game on Game Boy has, so Adventure, Belmont's Revenge, and even Legends, the final bosses, or even the final two stages in each of them are incredibly hard if you are playing them blind and have no idea how the boss patterns work. So
yeah, I think the runners are kind of lucky to not have to not have to do the last two bosses here, because they can definitely be a handful.
The games also tend to have very long chase scenes where you're basically running away from the edge of the screen.
Mhm.
and they tend to be really hard. Make one tiny mistake and you're just dead.
Yeah, if Adventure
There-
was
oh.
like faster, it would have been a lot better. Because all in all, it's not a bad game, but it's the speed that really tears it down.
You saw him Atros take a damage boost off that long spike wall there. I believe all runners will probably do that, and if you need it, there is a wall meet as soon as you fall. It's to the right in that room, so you can get one right below it.
Gotta get that wall meat.
Now the ever famous wall meat, always delicious and fresh.
Is it wall turkey in this case as well?
Yeah, it looks like a big turkey, yeah.
Or jellyfish?
And actually, if you get hit by these jellyfish, they take your hearts. So it's not. You can damage boost, but you have to get some hearts. He'll need. He might not go for any axes. I don't think on the boss. Can't
Yeah,
remember
last
what
time I
the
saw him
boss
do
strat
this,
is.
he like got to 4 hits on the boss every time.
Okay. With just whip only strats.
So let's see if he can get it this time. The good news about this boss in the Cloud Castle is if you stay on the complete, he didn't get a 4-hit one immediately. If you stay on the left side, he cannot hit you at all. Oh, he's gonna do it probably.
Yep.
Yep, he's got it.
Beautiful. You got the 4 hits on the first 2 cycles and then a 5 hit on the 3rd cycle there. Perfect fight.
Looks like he's not giving his lead away.
No, he's not. He's very dedicated. He was also the winner of last year's Tiny Town, by the way. The year before that, we had Captain Duck. E-Bloody Candy won the second one, and Nes Kamikaze actually won the first one.
Was he the only
games-
entrant?
No, no. I think we had 5 entrants back then for the very
The
first one.
timer countdown in this game seems to take forever once you beat a stage. That is definitely notable for a speed run. Much slower than like Castlevania or Castlevania 3 for NES. And this is the Rock Castle. You really got to make sure you control these frogs that are jumping out of these holes here. That can definitely cause you a lot of troubles if you don't control them. He did a pretty fair good job there of holding them together. There's another place coming up, another hallway with frogs that you need to do the same thing. They will just keep hitting you. They keep jumping out and jumping in you, so they get like inside your hitbox. So it make it really tough if you let them loose.
One of the boss fights in the Adventure is kind of like this, but with dogs, I believe.
Yeah,
They
it's a
just
little
jump out of the wall.
It's a little nod to the first Castlevania game for sure.
Oh, are these dogs?
No, they're frogs here, but in the
Oh, okay,
Adventure,
yeah.
they're dogs, I believe. It's hard to tell sometimes with these sprites.
It is. And there's a little place in the wall you can cross there for some reason. I like to joke with people when they're watching me run this game. I'm telling them that's a task wall, task rope. This is an interesting room, I should say something about, because it's one of the only few. This room and the room we were just in on a Traza screen here. If he were to destroy the candles, it actually makes the room darker, and that is a very unusual mechanic for a Castlevania game. This is only the only 2 rooms I've ever really seen that in.
Yeah,
It-
he
it
kind of
just got-
screwed up there.
It just
Yeah.
got knocked back there and was saved by a single
Oh.
pixel. But, ooh, it takes the death anyway.
That's what those candles, destroying those candles will do. You just don't know, if you're not familiar, or if you take a hit and get knocked back and you're off your route, you just don't know if you destroyed the candles. And I like that mechanic. I think it should have been used more in other places, but as we know, candles in Castlevania games are not normally a luminary object.
Yeah, it also makes those enemies come to life, I guess. They must be eternal.
Yeah, I guess they're
beetles or
afraid of.
whatever. Kind of look like beetles, I guess.
Yeah, armadillo or something. You never know, man. So mini crusher. First, the mini crushers. I think there's 4 crushers in this game. You can just damage boost and walk through it, or you can destroy it.
Yeah, you take a pretty significant amount of damage if you damage boost through them though, so better be careful.
No, so that enemy he just killed right there, those are the ones we were saying if he got hit by his projectile, he would lose 1 level of his whip upgrade.
Yep.
So those are definitely ones you want to handle and maintain during the runs. You got to keep an eye on. This boss here is pretty simple. He's got enough health to even mess up a couple of times and just get it. This first phase, you just get about whip's length away and just whip at him. A good 6 hits. He's going to phase 2.
Oh, he thought he still had the axe.
Yeah. I was wondering what he was doing there. But...
No, that's unfortunate.
Ooh, he's dead now.
One hit. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, that was risky. If he would have took his first damage that he got taken when the enemy jumped back to the right, if he would have taken that with his back facing the wall to the right, he would have got hit knocked back to the right and could have used those iframes to kill that enemy. I don't think he knew about that, and it got pretty risky in there. You see Green Z Saber making sure he takes care of the frogs as well. And he missed that one, but see, he couldn't even go that small space to that door with that one frog there. He had to control that one frog. They are a very pesky enemy in this game.
Yeah, don't worry about the screens being different people from time to time. Everybody needs to get in a little bit of screen time, of course. And the question, there are blind runners. Yes, there are. Some semi-blind, some completely blind. But I think 10 out of the 17 or 18 people actually practiced a lot for this one.
The Plank Castle, it's a little tricky, but there are lots of wall meat everywhere, so if you do mess up, you got plenty to back up your health with. Definitely want to make sure you have the axe for the boss at the end of this. So.
Lots of climbing in this stage.
Yes, they love ropes in this game.
Fortunately, climbing upwards isn't as fast as sliding downwards.
Yeah, you have your normal down climb speed, but you can also hold like down and A, I think, and he'll slide. So
yeah, exactly.
Makes it a lot quicker.
Yeah,
and those axes.
Oh, go ahead. Well, from what I've heard on Game Boy World, if anybody knows what that is that they actually could not program in staircases on Game Boy, and that's why they went with the ropes eventually.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, for people who don't know Game Boy World, it's a YouTube show and books about Game Boy games that came out in chronological order. It's really interesting if you kind of want to know the background on some of these games. It's like 10-minute episodes each time, and he's currently on the second year. I think he is almost wrapped up with it. It's a really fun watch. And read, if you like to read, but... I
Now
know
that
most
bridge
people
back
don't.
there, he took reverse hits from those eyeballs, because if he was to destroy those with the whip, it creates a hole in the bridge, and he would have had to travel through those, what look like, I guess, hands they slow you down. Some kind of weeds or hands, I'm not sure what it is, but they slow you down. In this part, you definitely you have to kill the spiders in a particular order to get across there. It's pretty.
Kanata having some trouble getting the bat down.
I think it's pretty cool how they use the spider webs as a rope like that.
Yeah, that's a very cool mechanic.
So Traz has 8 hearts in the axe, so he doesn't need anything else for this boss. But you do want to make sure you have the axe to just makes this boss very easy. It's not very hard otherwise, but I mean, it's just cake with the axe. So.
Yeah, and it will be the final boss for him in the order he picks, so he will be done with Castlevania. One of the few games that actually has a goal in this race.
That's okay. I mean, that's pretty much it. You just stand in the middle platform. You can hit the boss's projectiles with your whip if they get close to you. So now he's on the Gargoyles quest.
Yeah, I want to see a count in the chat for how many random encounters there will be for Atros. That's the biggest issue with this game.
So the world record gets 5 random encounters over the entire game.
mhm.
Let's see how many he gets, like, in the first 2 sections.
Yeah.
And yeah, the goal for this one is the second castle, right?
It's the third boss.
Third boss, okay.
Yeah. And like I said before, we picked the English version for this game for blind runners because sometimes it's not that obvious where you have to go, and if you can't read Japanese, then you would be pretty much stuck. But yeah, this will be a tough one for other blind players who have entered this race. It's the toughest one out of the bunch for sure.
Well, it definitely makes it more aggravating with the random encounters, and you know, if they were playing Gargoyles Quest 2, that wouldn't be there. But this one doesn't have as much space lost in as if you were playing Gargoyles Quest 2, so that'll help out blind runners as well. You can definitely get lost, but you go to 2 spots, and it's gonna be one of them. So.
And that was the first boss.
Nice. You do have a very long invincibility after getting hit, so that's something you can
You do.
use to just spam your attacks on certain enemies.
Alright, here we go, guys. How many random encounters? That's
There's
one.
number 1.
Yeah.
two tiles.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are right. You definitely wouldn't want to play this one blind.
What happened to me last night was I came out of the second dungeon, I guess, the monster tower, and I mashed through the text like usual, and the moment the text box disappeared, I went into a random encounter. I didn't even move at all. Okay, so yeah, this one is not a random encounter. You actually do have to fight this guy.
Yeah, he only got 1 random encounter before that entire section, so not too bad.
It's something.
The vials are currency, I believe.
Yeah, it's to buy extra lives in each of the towns.
That's number 2.
That was number 2, yeah. And he gets a very bad one.
Yeah, those enemies take multiple hits.
There are a few safety strats which you can do, which is a good thing for a race like this. Each town has a password guy. If you talk to him, they put a respawn point at him. So if you manage to die, you do not get sent back to the start of the game. There's also an extra life you can pick up very shortly after the first town. There actually also is like an energy tank kind of item that you can pick up north of the third town. So that actually kind of helps. You can of course buy extra lives if you want to play it even more safe. But what you want to do, of course, for the speedrun is you just go and skip all of these things. And yes, he is Jark.
I think that's it for. No, Green Sea Saber has one more stage, I guess. I thought he did the same route as Atraz, but I don't think so.
No, I think Green Z Saber went with like the actual game. order
Cloud.
if you keep the things.
So the way the Gargoyle's Quest game tries to prevent you from going where you're not supposed to go is by making you get a longer flight, so you can't cross certain spots. But in the actual speedrun, well, the good speedruns, I doubt these runners are gonna. You can skip large sections by doing, I believe, 14 or so frame-specific inputs.
Yeah, something like that.
And that lets you get just enough flight to skip an entire death pit. But yeah, that's not something these runners are gonna attempt. It's extremely hard even for
for the actual
hardened veterans at this game.
But that's probably also the point where a lot of blind runners would get stuck, finding the actual wing upgrade.
Yeah.
They do give you hints if you talk to the townspeople. It's not extremely hard to find, but it's like something you almost never use during the entire game.
Yeah, that's mostly the reason why you guys chose English, because that's the one thing you need to know in this goal, that you can't cross that specific section without an upgrade, which would be completely lost in the Japanese version.
Yeah, they still say like something cryptic, but
Yeah.
not as cryptic as Castlevania 2 on NES or something. So that's good, but you do have to talk to some people to actually know where it is.
What a horrible night to have a curse, right?
Yeah. Also, what a lot of people don't know is like the NES game actually was made for Game Boy first, but they suddenly decided to switch it up and actually make it for NES. But there is a ROM out there with the full version of the game. It's the exact same game as the NES one, except for like the tinier screen, of course. And it actually has 2 extra stages. There's 2 parts in the NES version where you can get an extra item and you only have to fight a boss, but the Game Boy version actually does have levels for those.
So the boss Atros is fighting right now is kind of tricky, so let's see how he handles this. If he dies here, that could be a big time loss.
Yeah, he's playing it very safely, because
He only has
usually-
one...
yeah, he only
one
has
left.
1 heart.
there we
It was
go.
officially released DLD? I thought it wasn't, but okay. I thought it was unreleased. Damn, then I have to find a copy of that. It's probably gonna cost like $100 or something.
You've acquired the Gremlin Stick. An incredible power is building in your body. Top tier translation right there.
You have you. Aw, you. I'm gonna keep it PG. I thought it was unreleased. My bad. €30. Okay, I can kind of live with that game.
So yeah, Atros is now backtracking, I believe, to whatever the king thing was, or the
Jark.
yeah jerk, to give him the gremlin stick that has incredible body power. And you will receive the wing upgrade then, I believe, right? Or that not here?
No, you do not get an upgrade there, I think. You do get an armor upgrade soon. But you already got the higher jump upgrades when you talked to Jark the first time.
He gets the Candle of the Poltergeist King. Which probably does something.
Sure. It's just an item you have to give to somebody else or to, like, see in a dark cave or something like that, if I remember correctly. Yeah, he has had 6 encounters so far. I believe so.
Looks like Green Saber's in a bit of a difficult situation right here, but let's see if he can clutch it out.
Yeah. Ooh.
The Holy
It is
Water
getting
save. One more hit, and he gets it. Finally, one of courage. It keep you whole.
Yeah, whoever decided how to program the actual how the text works, the text boxes work in this game, must have been drunk or something, because it's so awkward. Maybe it has something to do with how the Japanese text was actually put on the screen, but for an English version it's absolutely horrible. Here you can see Atros actually picking up the wings upgrade, which is hidden behind that tree. If you talk to the ghost beneath it, he says something about it.
You have to CHK that tree.
Yeah. As I mentioned before, north of here, if you go to the left side, you can actually get like an E-tank item, so you can heal. I think once every life you have, so that automatically refills. It's not a one-time only use item. I think in the second game it actually is a one-time use item. I don't remember.
So yeah, Green Saber also on Cargill's quest.
I'm just never gonna say the actual title anymore, because I cannot pronounce it.
And Atros making his way to the final dungeon of the skull.
He is getting close. And then he will have to play his favorite game.
Profanities have been exclaimed about Avenging Spirit.
Oh, sure, yeah. An excellent, excellent speed game. But when you mess up, it hurts so much. And it's a lot easier to mess up than you think. So yeah, what is the actual time right now?
Good question. Maybe chat can help.
Yeah, chat, how are we on the timer? Because we can't actually see that one. I'm just wondering if we will be able to get that sub 2 or not.
Apparently 1 hour and 46 minutes.
Ooh, yeah, it's definitely still possible for Atros to to get the sub 2. That would be very nice to see.
I remember this stage in particular where Atros is on to be very difficult on a blind playthrough.
Yeah, it's because of that one enemy that you saw them. Well, saw Atros getting a damage boost on. He's practically unavoidable.
And down goes the boss.
Yeah,
Hardest
that's the
boss
second
of all
boss.
time.
Saber has 2 random encounters so far. Yeah, there
Time
we
for
go.
some Avenging Pirate.
It does look like that, though.
Yeah, one of the most interesting games maybe on Game Boy. It did come from an actual arcade game first, but the way you play this is you are a little ghost and you actually have to possess your enemies and then you can play as them. It's a really, really fun speed game. It's pretty easy to learn. I think I picked it up in about an hour. It is hard to perfect it though. There's so much that can go wrong very, very fast.
Really
What you want?
interesting premise behind the game itself.
Yeah, the story is very depressing actually. You and your girlfriend are having a date, I guess, and you get shot. And your girlfriend gets kidnapped, and you actually die. And I think your father brings you back to life with one of his machines.
It's a hell of a story they got here.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. The end is even more depressing. Even if you get the good ending. Which they will not be doing, they will be getting the bad ending.
So then you're the ghost after you have been killed, and you're taking the souls of these people, these enemies, so you can do their moves.
Yeah, Atros going with a safe strat in the second level to make sure he has enough energy. The actual strat is kinda random, which can result in a game over. So he's not taking the chance, he's doing it a little bit more safe, using the old strat. Who did not manage to get that final hit on the second boss. Story of that old Patrick Swayze movie. I actually don't remember the story of that movie. It did have a lot of pottery in it.
What? Ghost was the movie, right?
Ghost,
Yeah. And I
That
know it
was
had
Whoopi Goldberg?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say as well.
Can't forget Whoopi.
Yeah, rest in peace, Patrick Swayze.
Enemy is he's doing pretty good. He's already got 1 or 2 encounters, I believe, though. So hopefully it'll chill out for him. They can be really heavy at times, or they can be really light, and you just walk right through everything. So now he's just got another encounter.
GQ is definitely a tough game to speedrun.
It is. I think it's a really fun game, though. I love the mechanics of, you know, the flight and the jump, like the jump levels and stuff. I think it's a really interesting game all around.
Yeah, I kind of hope like what they did with Blaster Master now on the Switch and 3DS with Blaster Master Zero, which is an amazing game, that they kind of revived the Gargoyles Quest series as well. I would love to see that.
Green Z Saber's got to be careful here. He can't die anymore, or he'll have to go all the way back to wherever he set that spawn point at. I'm not sure if he reset one or not, because you can set certain areas to be your new spawn point.
Yeah, indeed. Oh, you'll see the ending. Don't worry. You'll see the bad ending. The only way to get the good ending is by collecting 3 keys throughout the stages. Stage 2, 5, and 6, I believe, have the keys in them. So you can actually save your girlfriend. For the bad ending, you just skip all of that, so she will remain there forever.
Right, he's gotten to the boss now, but he doesn't have a hit to spare.
Yeah, only 1 heart. This is a scary boss to do on No Lie.
It is. You can't really see all 4 at the same time, but they're still shooting, so...
Oh, ooh, that was close.
Oh, wow.
See, their projectiles can just come out of nowhere. You gotta really be careful here.
Yeah, and they always shoot straight at where you're at, so...
Yeah. If you have a extra hit to spare, you can get in a spot on the bottom there to kill that last one, but ooh!
All
That
the
was
Cutting it
dodges.
close there.
But you really don't want to risk it without that extra hit, so he'll probably take it easy on this one and just fly in and out of the screen. Yeah.
He's cutting it really close, but
Yeah.
Made
Made
it.
it.
And that's all that matters.
Meanwhile, Atraz is just making his way to Avenging Spirit, not having too much trouble.
On the Dragon Snake boss right now. A few tricks you do in this game is like the continuously shooting without having to wait for another shot by constantly pressing down and shoot, so your animation gets cut off. It's a technique that gets used for 3 out of the 5 bosses.
Kanata here has very low health for this boss he is on. He can't take a hit from this
Ooh, and
boss.
he's too far away for the axis. That is
Gonna have to
very
walk.
unfortunate.
Oh, he didn't make it.
that's a death.
Atros almost done, but he does always have a lot of trouble with this final boss, so let's see how he will do now. He uses a very weird strat. That's not even an actual strat, I don't know how he does it. But it could get scary. He did pick up some energies now, so he should be fine. I think he'll do it, yeah. Seems like he's got it.
Oh, yep,
Oh, yeah,
there we
he
go.
got it.
And we have a wiener.
Nicely done.
For the second year in a row, well, second edition in a row. Atros has won the Tiny 10.
In 1 hour and 54 minutes.
So, yeah,
Wow,
the
that's
sub
an
two is
incredible
real.
time. He didn't really have any big problems anyway, except for maybe on that Flintstones boss.
There were a few game overs here and there, but nothing that cost him a lot of time. He was in the lead for the entire race, kept it going. Very nice.
How boring, right?
How boring. Damn it, Atros. Yeah, here's your bad ending for Avenging Spirit. Enjoy.
Oh, nope.
Oh no, it's
Rip.
gone. Rip ending. We'll see it soon enough, I guess.
No spoilers. Gotta play the game yourself.
That was actually pretty funny. No blowing winds, guys. Sorry.
No round one knockouts here. I don't know why John Carlos is electing to go that way, but he's taking the slower route here and going on the left side. Don't actually have to get rid of that last crusher there. Having a little trouble controlling these balls too. He wants to make sure he doesn't lose his whip.
I'm sure Atros will be joining us very shortly for some comments. Let him take a breather right now.
John Carlos is coming up on the boss. We saw Kanata down. He's got a little more health, but he doesn't have a lot of health.
Whoa!
I didn't notice there.
Steamboat Willie coming.
Toot toot.
I think that was Atros.
John Carlos made light work of that with 2 health to spare. Enemy
3
5
people.
randoms.
3 people on Gargoyle's quest, huh?
Yeah, enemy 5 randoms. Looks like they slowed down a bit for him. They seemed pretty heavy in the beginning for him, but I guess they slowed down while we were watching others. Felt
They
like he
had
was
3
gonna
right
get
at the
really high.
start.
Yeah. This game is very unpredictable with the random encounters. You don't even have an idea of the rate. You know what I mean? It's just whatever.
Yeah, we found out that there is like kind of a manipulation, but as far as we know, it's only viable in the TAS. We're not sure if any tricks are actually being used during RTA runs.
So how's the RNG going for everybody?
Hey Atros, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. I cannot believe I got sub 2.
Well, it was very likely possible, so...
What spots in the race did you feel, a little worried about as you were going through?
Castlevania and Gargoyles quests were the ones I was most concerned by, but I just honestly, I'm surprised I didn't just give up on the death on Flintstones. I was so mad. I died on the boss on the last cycle. I was like, what? No.
Yeah, that's the only spot we could really think of looking back that you really had big troubles on. Now, were you like keeping an eye on the race, or were you just focused on what you were doing?
I just had chat open, and I was just going based off what everybody was saying. But I figured that I'd have a few people right on my ass, though, because I know Green, he said his PB was like a 207, which is really good. Enemy, he's got a like 210 or something like that. So I knew there was going to be a few of them, so I didn't really need to pay attention to know that I needed to pick up the pace a little bit.
It was
Hey,
really
you were-
close in Yoshi's Cookie, but then you got a lot of room there. Go ahead, my bad.
Yeah, you were like a few minutes ahead for most of the race through. You got an early lead, and then pretty much just kept it. So
What would you say was the longest game to learn for you, and that you spend the most time practicing for the whole run? Individual game.
Either Little Mermaid or DuckTales 2. They didn't take me a long time to learn, but those are the games that I probably played the most of because I couldn't. I don't know. They were good speed runs, and people kept on taking the world record from me, or it took me a while to get the world record on DuckTales. So I kept on playing those a lot. DuckTales 2. I mean, RNG on Moo is, yeah, it's horrible.
it's quite something. In all bosses, or a good ending at least, you have to fight him last, or almost last at least. Resetting there is really fun. About 15 minutes in.
Looks like Green Z Saber is getting pretty close to the end of Gargoyle's Quest here. That should be it. That's the last boss, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so, right? Yeah. So he's
So
moving on.
the four on the stream right now, they're doing actually really well. I mean, they're all on Gargoyle's Quest, and they're about halfway, or already past halfway to the game. So
Yeah, everybody that we've seen, it's pretty much, nothing real major has happened that really hold anybody back. So all the runners are doing really well. I know there was some people playing blind. I hope they checked this one out, Gargoyle's Quest, before they went into the race.
yeah, everybody that asked, like, what games should I focus on if I'm going in blind? Like, what games should I learn, if any? And everybody unanimously like, dude, you need to at least look up one run of Gargoyle's Quest, or you'll be lost for the most part. So
Yeah. D-Saber on the snake kind of boss here.
yeah, there's actually a manipulation for. Well, there's manipulation for this boss, and he's got 5 different patterns that you'd have to learn. Then there's a manipulation for the stage 5 boss, which you can manipulate him 2 different ways, and then there's actually a way you can just do the last boss, where you manipulate his attacks, so you get him to do certain things. I did none of that.
Well, you didn't need it, just you had such a nice lead, you didn't have to worry about going for any of the risky stuff, just playing it safe.
Well, the issue with the stage 1 manipulation is it requires that you start the game on like the exact right frame. If it's off by you have 1 to 3 pixels, according to Nadula, who's the one that found it. So you got 1 to 3 pixels to actually get the RNG manipulation set.
Yeah, that's not really worth it in a marathon setting.
Well, and the worst thing is you can't tell that you actually got it either until you pretty much get to the boss, and you'd have to memorize all 5 of his patterns that he can do.
Yeah. Taking down that mechanical boss there pretty easily. I don't know what these things are. That will smash you, I know that. I remember playing these things.
See, these are all really great games. If anybody here hasn't played some of these games, I really recommend them. I know it's a running joke for most people to talk about Barbie, but Barbie's actually surprisingly a pretty good speedrun.
I thought Barbie was really fun. I mean, it's a crazy game with, whatever it is, but if just playing it plays fun.
So,
going to buy shoes and all that. He knows whatever.
so Atros, have you... Two questions. Have you thought about what game you would add to the next Tiny 10? And the second question is, why is it Alien 3?
Well, obviously it's Alien 3 because I'm pretty sure that's the best Game Boy game there is.
Sure it is.
I'm ready for you guys to do full runs of Belmont's Revenge and fight those last two bosses.
Ooh, I'm
I
not touching
might.
that one.
Someday, but I hate that game with a passion, and I suck so much at it. And that was going into it. The games I was most concerned were the last three because I hated all three of the last three games. I mean, they're good games. They're really solid games, but Gargoyle's Quest is an RNG simulator. Castlevania's character just moves so slow, it drives me insane.
It moves terribly slow.
Avenging Spirit is an insanely good game, but the speedrun of it is just so precise that it makes you hate it because the precision of it.
Well, Captain Duck took a death there. I don't know how many. Okay, he's got a life to spare.
Luckily, he does usually go for safety strats as well during these games, so he should have like his respawn point set up in the first town at least.
Yeah, hopefully we'll need it because there still is quite a bit of a ways to get back here. He does have a hit to spare on this boss.
Oh, poor Enemy. See, Enemy just went with the fast strat on stage 2. I went the safe strat. That's the reason I went with the safe strat. It's to get through those walls while in ghost form. It's actually pretty precise. So, it's one of those things that's just not really worth it in my opinion because the safe strat costs you, I think, like 5 more seconds. And if you mess up the fast strat, then it costs you like half a minute or something like that.
Yeah, indeed.
He's gonna get it this time. He's got 6 health coming through the wall, so he should be good this time.
Yeah, he did manage to get it.
Ooh, very close for Captain Duck there.
Ooh.
Oh, I think he was thinking that projectile was going to hit that rock he was on because it can hit the bottom of those and disappear, but it just didn't do it.
Yeah. He did also pick up the extra life on the world map, so... I'm not sure if anybody has ever run Solomon's Club on Game Boy yet, which is a really good game. I'm not sure if it's exactly the same as the NES one.
So, Mo and Bang, you guys are gonna let me do commentary next Tiny 10. You guys are gonna raise, right?
No. Well, Ben Gara can, I mean,
Well, if half of the games are gonna be games I speedrun, then sure.
Yeah, just a heads up for like everybody in chat and such. We're gonna do a little experiment next time. What we have been doing for the past 5 Tiny 10s was picking games that are somewhat blind friendly, so that anybody could actually join, even if they didn't practice. What we want to try for the next one is actually pick games where you really need to know the strats for. That's why we're picking as the first game. That's the only game that's been confirmed so far is Addams Family All Bosses, which is an extremely hard game to play casually or blind. But if
Luckily,
you
the
know
run
about
itself isn't very hard.
yeah, it's really easy that way. But yeah, if anybody wants to join the next one, be prepared that it's gonna be a whole lot tougher than all the previous editions.
An interesting thing about Addams Family All Bosses is that you can very easily forget to fight a boss and still beat the game, and then, oops.
True. Yeah.
when I was going for world record on that category at some point, I beat the game and I was like, "What? I'm 40 seconds ahead of world record," and I was like, "Oh, I forgot to fight the boss."
That is really unfortunate.
Green Z Saber about it's the last boss, right?
Yep.
Indeed.
He's about to finish up.
Maybe we will actually see the ending this time? Maybe?
Nah.
I even actually sat through the credits just to show the ending too, and then I went over to Speed Gaming, like actually loaded it up, and I was like, oh, he already switched off me.
You had enough screen time there.
GG to second place.
Yeah, surprised because we didn't hear a lot from him during all the weeks before Tiny 10, but yesterday he posted his PB and it was extremely good. So
That was 2 hours and 10 minutes for Green Saber.
yeah, very, very good.
That's not bad at all, because he said his PB was 2:07:30, something like that, yesterday.
I
So
think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good marathon time with that PB.
and consider the fact you got RNG Simulator and you got Avenging Spirit, which it can be rough. So I mean, only being like what +3 compared to your PB isn't bad at all.
Not at all. I think looks like Enemy is going to take home the bronze. I think he's
He
the
is
only
close,
person on Avenging Spirit.
The wind blows, guys. The wind blows. There you have the bad ending for Avenging Spirits.
The wind blows. Enemy coming into the last stage, I think.
Curious to see if Enemy is going to pick up the HP or not, because me and Saber both did. And Enemy so far has been going with like the fast strat, so curious if he's going to pick up the safety HP.
Let's see what happens.
Knowing Enemy, I would say he would not, but it is a marathon, so. You know, you kind of do a few things you might not normally do just to make it and not have any troubles.
Yeah, being so close to the end and probably not knowing how far the others are in. Probably best to pick it up.
I say it's not that far out of the way, so I mean, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, playing very safe, not even like taking hits from the boss when he does his grab thingy or whatever
There
it is.
goes the boss.
GG
Enemy
to
takes third place.
Enemy TV.
Damn. Some really nice times. This list was really suited to get under 2 hours and 30 minutes easily with a little bit of practice. So
Oh, Kanata just took a horrible death right there. And it looks like Kanata's just gonna randomly switch games.
Maybe he beat the boss or what?
No, he died right before. There's a little like gargoyle that flies in, and you just have to pretty much tank his damage and kill him. He took 2 hits off of him, which kills you because he does 2 bars of health per hit, and it was a game over. So I'm not really certain.
well,
why
I
he's-
saw him defeat the final boss. Pretty sure. Not that drunk.
I didn't happen to be watching that screen at the time.
No, I'm pretty sure I saw him kill the final boss. Well, the third boss.
Alright, did he load up a save state or something? Because I saw him die.
I have to go back and check it out, but I mean, he's gotten a number 10. I don't think he would just switch over.
No, I don't think so
Yeah.
either. Someone somehow died after that of final boss. That is very weird. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. I'm not sure how that's even possible.
I don't know if we want to try and get like enemy in here or somebody or a green Z saver.
Well, PLD would have to like give them permission
Ah, that's right.
for sure.
We
Like, you can
already
do
had
that.
permission because we knew he was gonna win, right?
Probably.
Even though he was convinced he wasn't.
Dude, I'm not even joking. Green, when he posted his PB yesterday, it really scared me. It's just out of nowhere. He's like, yeah, I got like this
Ooh.
time. I'm like,
Ooh,
what?
JC, no.
Uh-oh.
Did
That
he
was-
do a safety
That was the
save?
game over.
That was not good.
That is a big travel back, even with the safety save point.
That's rough. That could cost him 4th place. Well, no, 5th place maybe.
Well, it could have been 4th if we don't know what happened to Kanata.
Alright, so I just went back and watched. What happened is Kanata defeated the last boss, and then it looked like he got hit the same time he killed the guy. So after the cutscene of the stairs coming up ended, or the wall coming up, he died there, and then he continued from there, and he died from the like mid boss. So I mean, it's up to you, Mo. I mean,
Nah, that's alright.
beat the
That's
boss.
alright. That's alright. I mean,
That's really weird.
Yeah, like it was pretty much right as like there's he summoned
But he
like
didn't-
bees or whatever, and those were inside of Kanata when he got the last hit on the boss.
that's very unfortunate. That's something that like I said, I've never seen that before. So he did play a little part of it back. So even if he didn't die and went to the quote-unquote cutscene from entering the door.
Well, the goal was to
It's,
beat the boss, and
Yeah, indeed.
Well,
So it's alright.
Kanata is making his way now to Avenging Spirit. After his controversial end to Gargoyle's Quest.
Alright, since enemy and green are gonna be hopping in here, I'm gonna hop out. Thanks for listening to me ramble about how bad I did on Flintstones.
Well, congratulations, man. It was awesome to watch the run.
Thanks, appreciate that.
Very amazing.
I just want a tiny tin where Mo actually joins. That's my goal right now.
No, that will never happen.
He says he's not a speedrunner, but I beg to differ.
He does currently hold the world record on Darkwing Duck for the Game Boy. so-
The only game I have a world record still on.
Hey, you run one game, that makes you a runner, man.
Yeah, for sure.
he ran one game.
Yeah. Nah, that's the only game I would go back to if more people would actually run it and come up with new strats. But even then, probably after a week, I would be like, yeah, I'm done. My attention
Got a
span is way
green
too
Z
short.
saber right here. Second place. Congratulations, man.
Thanks.
It's a really good run. Was there any spots in there you wish you could go back right now and do them again?
For sure.
Have a second go at
DuckTales.
DuckTales.
I should have. And Yoshi's Cookie for sure. I had very, very bad RNG in that one.
You did almost catch up to Atros during, though. You did a very, very impressive World 2.
Yeah, it was 3-1 to 3-8. I
Yeah.
think was the closest lead there.
But then, yeah, 3-1 took you like a little longer than supposed to take.
And what runs within the run did you think you really nailed? This time.
Good question.
Ooh, JC.
I would say Avenging Spirit. I did use a lot of safe strats for that, but I basically set it up so that it was consistent and had like little room for deaths.
It was a really impressive run overall. Second place is obviously nothing to, look down upon. You did really well. And what was like when you first got the Tiny Tin list? How did you approach it? Did you just learn them all at once? Did you break it down?
Well, I started, I think, on the list around the beginning of March. I basically just played through the goals blind. And then after that, I compared my times to like the world record runs. Not all of them, because some of the optimal runs like Gargoyle's Quest I still haven't looked up at all. Gargoyle's Quest was very bad as well. Lots of encounters.
Yeah, I think you had 8 by the end. I think is what we counted.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So far, Duck has had the fewest ones. He had 5 during his entire run. It's it's quite impressive only to get 5.
That's nice. I had a 14-minute Gargoyle's Quest the other night, and I had very low encounters for that. They make a huge difference.
They do, yeah. Especially if you get some of the tougher enemies to defeat.
Was there any game on your practice list that you wish you could have practiced more than you did?
Definitely DuckTales and I think Barbie Game Girls. Shin-Chan, I'm not very consistent at mashing, so I just decided to forego the mashing strats.
Right, that's a thing I've heard from a lot of people, that they have trouble smashing, like in general, not just for Chin-Chan, but yeah, I wonder... Like, I know a lot of people use different techniques for mashing. I never have really had troubles with it, with mashing in general. I wonder why that's a thing. So
Yeah,
that
for
a lot
me,
of people
mashing,
suffer.
in Shin-Chan, you have to basically mash for a long period of time. Like,
Yeah.
20-something seconds is too much, more than I'm used to. I played a lot of games that require mashing, but only in short bursts. Something like 5 seconds, and then you take a break, and then another 5 seconds.
Yeah, it definitely is a very long match in that game. But I don't know, I always hear people that they get a lot of strain on their muscles while having to do it for a long period of time. I don't know how I do it, what my technique is, but my hand is like really floaty, I would say, during mashing, and I never feel any strain in any of my muscles. No, it's yeah, strange to hear from time to time that people have a lot of trouble with that.
How about some Alien Olympics or Tiny Tin?
Yeah, I mean, those are, again, they're rough, but I never have any troubles with like my wrist or my lower arm. That I hear a lot of people say that that's the problem, that they like lock up or something.
Yeah,
after.
I get issues with my elbow because I like flex and then vibrate my arm somehow. And it's really bad on the elbow joint for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing is I'm trying not to strain my arm too much. I had some arm like tendonitis last year, and it was not fun.
Yeah.
trying not to get that again. I basically had to like not play anything for a whole month. Which
That's really rough, though, man.
yeah, very very rough.
Second place, I would definitely be happy with the practice that you
I'll
know
take it.
I put in. Congratulations once again.
Thanks. I didn't spend too much time on these games I wanted to, but it was definitely a fun experience. That's for sure.
Yeah, glad to hear that. Also, like you said, you played through the games blind first and started from there. I think that's the most healthy approach to doing races like this. I know there's a lot of people out there who just, without even having played the game once, immediately look up the speed run and start from there. I think it's a lot more healthy to actually just casually play through the game first, so you know what you're dealing with.
Oh yeah.
It definitely helps with when you get into trouble and have to deviate from the speedrun path.
Yeah, the biggest issue I think I would have faced was just learning the layout of the levels. I think a blind run helps a lot with that.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we have third place went to Enemy TV. Congratulations, Enemy.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I left some time on the table there, but we had a pretty strong finish. Gargoyles Quest went well, so that made me happy.
What was the real big good points of your run there?
Oh, good points. I thought you were gonna go the other way with that. Good points. I guess that like I did everything that I could in Gargoyles Quest. Oh man, no, never mind. I take this back. The best point got RNG in DuckTales 2. Robo Duck was a bro if ever he was one. I mean, that dude was like, "Here's some blocks. You want some more blocks? They're right next to me, buddy. Get your double hits." Done.
Not nice to me the first time I fought him. I died to him.
Oh, I did that. So I actually like run the NES version, and in the Big 20 when that game was in there, I just completely tanked that game. So this was like my vengeance on DuckTales 2.
Enemy back with a vengeance.
Then again, on Game Boy, that boss is a lot easier.
Oh,
a lot less RNG.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, Bang, because you're on the NES version too. It's a joke on the Game Boy version. All you have to do is get RNG. On the NES version, you have to execute as well, but on the Game Boy,
that 2-frame window to get a double hit.
Right.
Now, early on, it seemed like maybe you weren't on pace. Where was it in the middle that it kind of changed?
Because at a certain point you go so low that you can't go any lower, so things start getting better. So I did great on the first stage of Grand Shinchan. I went up and over, and I kept the mashing going as long as I could, even over the, once you get to the platform. And then I couldn't press the A button hard enough to jump high enough to get over the beam and the second stage, so I had to do that like 4 times, and then I lost the Tanuki suit, and I had to go find one. Luckily, I went on a different route, and I didn't actually know if there was a Tanuki suit there, but turned out fortune favored the surgeon there, so I found it. And there's problems in so many games, but Flintstones was the real disaster. I got knocked down by the little dinosaur dude on the castle, and you have to do the whole screen over again. As far as I know, I don't know. Maybe there's some way to get out of there, but I don't know.
You really have to go all the way around, unless you have Dino, and then you can jump back up.
Oh no, Dino was long gone at that point.
Now, were you focusing on everybody else's time, or were you just
no? I actually wasn't. Sometimes I do, and I don't know. I was just focusing on my stream and stuff, and I don't know. I wonder if it would have gone any better the other way. But yeah, it's it went away. It was actually my second best time through the games, at least. So I guess there's something. It's like all the games that normally go well went terrible, and all the games that normally go badly went okay.
That seems to be the norm for marathons for me. So.
Meanwhile, Kanata finished up with his run, so he takes 4th place today. Very good.
Yeah,
also,
congratulations.
Amazing.
What we got going on? We got a couple people still on Gargoyle's quest.
This tiny tennis inspired me to do a all levels run of Yoshi's Cookie.
Yeah, I really want to see how that goes. Like, you're gonna do it on high, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's gonna
I
be
have a-
so hectic.
Well, last night, I mean, I'm usually good with discerning the patterns. It's just that sometimes when I get bad RNG, like you saw, several levels, there's nothing I can do
Mhm.
about it. Like yesterday, I got a PB of like 659 in the goal. So
Yeah, well, the thing really is with those two levels, the speed is still pretty low, but on high, even
Yeah.
at World 4, it gets really crazy really fast. So definitely good luck with that.
I'll see what happens. I like puzzle games.
Yeah, so this is why me and the other people now organize these things, like to get people familiar with all of these Game Boy games, because it's not really a system that is very popular at the moment. Just
I don't know
to
why.
show them the games and so
More
that
people should
start-
join this because the thing that drew me to this tiny 10 as opposed to like the big 20 was I felt like it would be shorter overall to learn compared to 20.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I think if like people want to get into a marathon or a race, this would be a good place to start.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of regretted not doing the Big 20 this past time because I really like that game list, but that's a pretty beefy time commitment. And then kind of lo and behold, I stumbled across this list. So I was like, hey, let's give this a shot. And what I've found in playing Game Boy games is that kind of without fail, I find all the good ones. Like whether it's people recommending them to me or you guys putting this list together. This list was fantastic. For all the grief I have over some of the games like Flintstones and Gargoyle's Quest and whatnot. I mean, like they're a lot of fun. Even if I had some pains with them. So
There's just so many of them. There have to be a few good ones.
that's right. I've been lucky. I haven't found the crappy ones yet.
There are some crappy ones.
I'm sure there are. I've seen EBC and John do their Game Boy quests. So yeah, there's that many games. You're gonna have some stinkers. But hey, this list was great. This was super fun.
Yeah, I really like this list.
It has been most certainly the best list so far.
Although some of the games I wouldn't want to speedrun, like Gargoyle's Quest. Just way too much.
Yeah, that RNG.
Yeah, a complete run of that would be really tough. I just wanted to definitely show this game because it's one of my top 5 favorite Game Boy games of all time. So it had to be in at some point. I think the goal for this was decent enough to show off what the game can do for you for a speedrun.
So when are we adding Game Boy Color games to the mix?
Yeah, that's been the question since the very first one, because back then when I made the list and it was just me doing this, we were like, dude, we can maybe do this 2 or 3 times maximum and then we're gonna run out of good games. But as I started my system challenge, and then John Carl's did, and then EBC got into it, and Zenic Reverie was already doing it. We found so many games that are amazing to speedrun, and we just keep finding new ones. And usually we have to cut a lot of them because it's very hard for blind players, but that's why we're doing the experiment next time to see if we can make a list that's a little bit more where it's necessary to actually learn the games and see how that goes.
Well, we definitely needed a little bit more outreach for to get more players involved before we could do you could do something like that. But I think this version of Tiny 10 has been fairly successful compared to the other ones.
Well, the previous one was pretty good as well. We had 10 runners then, and now we doubled again. I think the second one was the worst
low
one
point.
of all. Everything went wrong that time. Even
The one where I had
to.
to end play and restream.
I don't know what that was about.
Wait a second.
Don't worry,
You played and
took,
restreamed?
I still took second place.
Oh my, what a stud.
How many people did you have in that one?
4.
Yeah.
5.
Oh.
Yeah, we had like 5 people who said they were gonna do it, and then when the day came, everybody was like, "Nope, not doing it." So we were a little bit in trouble.
That's
There were
thing.
5, I know, because I had to switch out one person.
Yeah,
I was gonna
That
say,
is
imagine
terrible.
being the 5th person that doesn't quite make it onto the stream as much, you know. But man, that's running it and doing the restream and running the game. That's crazy.
And most of the games were blind, so that was...
blind as well. Yeah. Oh man, that was fun. Yeah,
All right,
but
guys,
After
hey.
that one,
I gotta get out of here. Thank you for putting this together. This was super fun, and good luck to everyone who's wrapping up, and GG to everyone who finished.
yeah, congratulations
enemy.
again on your 3rd place, man. Thanks
All
for
right, thank you.
doing it. Yeah, the second one was a real disaster case, but after that it always got better. Like the 3rd one we had like 6 runners, then we had 10 runners, now we have almost 20 runners. So it definitely keeps getting better. And
A lot
first
of
we
runners
Yeah,
right here together, getting toward the end here.
yeah, Avenging Spirits. It's a game that can make or break you in this race.
That's exactly why I went for the safe strats in that game. It's so easy to lose your progress. So much time.
Yeah, there are quite a few safe strats you can actually use during this game, which is good. Plus, if you die, you only have to redo one level, of course, which also helps. The community is for sure growing, and it's still pretty small, which is also kind of good because we have like a little bit more control. Well, I wouldn't say control, but it's easier to manage stuff like this or make sure that everybody's using the correct hardware or software to do.
Yeah, we're
all
slowly
these-
figuring out what to use for Game Boy.
Yeah. Again, if you are really want to get started with Game Boy games, be sure to visit the website. We made it especially for that, gbrunners.com. It has a complete tutorial on how to get started if you're going the software route or the hardware route.
Have we done anything for GBI yet, or is that still...
I think we still have to put that up, but that should be pretty easy, yeah. But we have, like, Super Game Boy Enhanced games have a little issue. Nudua made a good... I think it was Nudua, right? Made, like, a good explanation about that. He also made a tool that makes it possible to use save states on Game Boy EverDrive and, well, just random ROMs, so that is really, really good.
Yeah, the save states are built into the ROM, not into the
Yeah,
software.
not in the system, yeah. So we're constantly trying to make it easier for everybody to actually run these games. Well, not me, but I just make the website. But yeah, everybody's really doing a very good job.
I just route games so other people can get the record.
Yeah.
I mean, HLs.
Once
Yeah.
I So you guys got any plans for the next Tiny 10? In the works?
Yeah,
Not
besides the more pro edition, I guess we're gonna call it. Not much. No, I really need to take a break from this. If any of the other people involved in this project would already try to get started on it, they can. I'm always around, but I really need a break from all of this for a little while.
The big part is mostly finding 10 games to showcase and finding good goals for it.
Finding 10 more games with jellyfish.
With
Yeah.
jellyfish.
Dude, Eggplant Edition?
Eggplant edition. There are not that many eggplants actually in Game Boy games. I can only think of ooh yeah, see that's a good game to put in. Kid Icarus of Myth and Monsters.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good game.
And did we have an Adventure Island last time?
No, we still haven't had any adventure rounds.
It's a good one.
No, pretty good.
Though that would be interesting for goal-wise, because that's a very long game.
Unless you know the route for the first one, I think that's pretty... You can skip most of the levels.
Oh yeah, right.
Ice Climber. Ice Climbers on Game Boy? I didn't think so. I don't think it is on Game Boy.
I bet Quark has an eggplant in there somewhere.
Well, they are all vegetables, so the possibility is for sure there. Almost everybody in stage 5? Except for Server is in stage 6, I believe? I have no idea where he is.
Yeah, stage 6.
Quark is going to be in the next list. Oh boy.
Quirk, yeah, no. Infinite Mystery will... Yeah. He will start crying, guys.
Well, it's not bad if you know what you're supposed to do.
That is true.
Oh yeah, I remember he had a hard time with it on practice though.
Yeah, I don't know how far he is in. Is anybody watching the RGL channel? I guess not. No, I know he had a lot of trouble with Yoshi.
Take a look. Good. Oh, it's on Castlevania.
Oh, so he did manage to... Oh, he's actually doing pretty well. I think everybody will finish up with quite a good time. What is the time?
Longer is better in the case of the mystery.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I see we have like 50 minutes left before we actually have to like cut stream so that the OOT, I don't know what they're doing actually, can start. Normally we would have an hour longer, but we got a little mix up with the summertime between the US and the EU. So you can probably still watch a little bit more of this on RGL TV for anybody who wants to watch more.
Or of course on the runners individual.
Or on the runners pages. Also congrats Sir Griff for finishing.
Looks like Eat
That's
Bloody
good
Candy
voice.
is on the final boss as well. Really
You got
close
the good
between those two guys.
Not something you see every day.
So yeah, they finished within 42 seconds of each
Seconds from
other.
each other. Yeah, good game, EBC. EBC also made the layout, by the way, so thank you very much, EBC, for putting time into that. And the original logo, like the Game Boy thingy, was actually made by Cartina Cow. If you people know him, shout outs to him for providing me with that back during the second one, I think it was. And of course, thank you to Fiesel for letting us do this on his channel, on the Speed Gaming channel.
For a second time.
For a second time, indeed. Thank you to all the runners. It was an amazing turnout. Thank you to my co-commentators. Normally, Geiges Blues was also gonna commentate, but he had to go to work, so Cthulhu here stepped in. Thank you very much for
You're
that.
welcome. It's been awesome being here.
Just making sure I say thank you to everybody before we actually have to cut. Yeah, thank you to the Frame Savers, so John Carls and Other Blues, for making an entire episode of their podcast about the Tiny Ten. That was very nice.
So we're going to watch the second half of Belgium Greece now?
No. I could not really give one damn about that, honestly. Shout outs to the Pink Ranger, of course.
Ah.
Yeah, congratulations, Huxney, with 8th place. Very nice. And if people in chat are interested in more Game Boy related things, well, like I said before, I am doing a system challenge. Zenic Reverie is doing one. E-Bloody Candy is doing one. John Carls is doing one. Bangara is kinda doing one, but he only does races in alphabetical order, but I think you haven't done one of those in a long time.
No. I've been focusing on other stupid games like
Yeah.
Peggle.
Indeed. You have Atros, who's actually doing a Game Boy Advanced system challenge, and you also have Spiderweb __ who is doing a Game Boy Color system challenge. If you need more Game Boy content, be sure to follow all those people. And if people are wondering how to pronounce my name, it's Mulle.
Well,
No, it's not Moel, it's not Moeliu, or all of the things we've heard so far. It's just Mulle. Very easy.
what does it mean though?
I'm not gonna explain that because that's gonna take another half an hour. JC having some trouble on the final stage, I see.
Ooh.
So yeah, Fiesel, anytime you feel like you have to cut, just let us know.
We seem to be all talked out at this point.
That's usually what happens after 3 hours, yep. 10 people still running. JC might be able to finish before we have to cut stream. That would be really nice to still see. It seems like all the other people are not far from finishing, but at least still a few games away from finishing, so... But yeah, we still have 10 minutes left, so maybe get JC in here or something, or anybody else who wants to commentate, like Captain Duck or Kanata or whoever feels like it. Just ask PLD. There we go, JC finished. The wind blows.
A wind blows. Such a sad ending.
It is. And what does the other one say? Was it just a dream or something? Something like
That's
that.
Super Mario Brothers.
Oh well, there we have our Otter Blues cameo at least. If anybody wants to know what the previous Tiny 10 games were, you can still find a full list of them on the speedrun.com/tiny10 forum. I think I listed them all there. I will be adding them to gbrunners.com shortly as well. The previous one is already on there, but I still have to add the other three. John Carls is gonna delete his Twitch now. He will be missed. Now I actually really want to know what the next thing. I know it's something with Ocarina of Time, but I'm actually not sure what it is. Oh, there it is. The Ocarina of Time Championship. I hope Atros and PLD are happy that I did not do a single pun. Although I had a lot of them in store. I'll keep those for my stream, I guess. So nobody will hear them. Yeah, I'm sorry, EBC. I'm very, very sorry. I did manage to slip one in that nobody noticed during Flintstones.
Don't worry, he's just jelly.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say, guys. It's hard being here all alone now.
It's hard being a Belgian.
Yeah, we're not very talkative to begin with.
Well, this is why you do these things, right? Get better.
Yeah. Smart Alec going on to his final game. Probably not gonna be finishing this in 4 minutes, but maybe he does and gets new world record while doing it.
When are we doing a CDI tournament?
A CDI tournament, that doesn't sound like a fun thing, but we still do have to do like a CDI stream one day.
Do you actually own a CDI?
Yeah,
It's a
Really?
Belgian console, and we are Belgians. So.
well, it's a Dutch console, but
Well, Belgian, Dutch,
yeah.
both countries.
There are very awesome games on that system.
Like what was it that Susie bought?
Scotland Yard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I have Encarta 95, one of the best games ever made. No, I don't even know what I have. I have like 40 games and I know 3
Dude,
of
I
them.
believe I have Ghost,
What?
the movie on
CDI
CDI.
game?
Oh god.
A whoopee blows.
Whoopee blows. We are really, really bad at wrapping things up, by the way, everybody. This is usually how it ends. Nobody has anything left to say, and we're just rambling about random stuff. And then suddenly we are gone. I do hope all the viewers actually enjoyed this and are not put off on Game Boy by it. Because it has a very bad reputation. For no apparent reason.
A bad reputation?
Yeah, it's Game Boy, ew. Which is really weird.
They clearly never played Swamp Thing.
Oh, well, that's something else. Please never play Swamp Thing.
So, have you made any progress?
In Swamp Thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I made a tutorial about it, how to actually beat that freaking game. Or how to actually play that game. Yeah, I uploaded it as kind of a tutorial so that everybody finally knows how to play that game, and it's actually not that hard once you know what to do.
What genre is it?
It's a crap former.
Crap.
It's some kind of platformer, but unless you have the instruction manual, you do not know how to play it, and it's not available anywhere online. No game facts, no manual scans, nothing. There was not a single video about it.
That reminds me, we might soon know what the sword does in Alien 3.
In Alien 3, yeah. Nobody knows what it does. Nobody knows.
EBC bought the manual for it, so...
Soon. Very soon. Where would you be without a Game Boy community? Probably in the same place as you are now, but... Yeah, Feasel, just let us know if Yo T Crew is ready.
Someone sounds desperate to go.
Definitely ready. Yeah, I have nothing more to say. I honestly do not have anything more to say, but if I have to keep going, I will, of course.
We'll switch over any minute now. They're just about ready.
Alright.
Thanks again, Feasel, for doing the restream.
Very kind. Now Bangara could finally just relax one time.
Yeah.
You would play Game Gear games? Yeah, okay.
There's some fun Game Gear games.
Sure, I'm sure there are.
Fortunately, it's impossible to play them on an actual Game Gear.
Yeah. I still need to fix mine one day. But why would I? Because I'm not playing on it anyways. So. And then I would have to find like, is there even like an adapter for it, so you don't have to put batteries in it?
Yeah. You just use if you have European stuff, you just use a Genesis 1.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's alright.
Well, a Mega Drive 1 power adapter.
Mega, yeah, sure. I have stuff lying around.
The same one you use for a Super Famicom.
Yeah. Yeah, I just need to order those condensers, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like that mod though.
Mod, just to fix
Well,
up.
fixed, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so cramped inside a Game Gear. It's really annoying to get everything back in. Getting them out is no problem, but the replacements are bigger.
Bigger, yeah. And the longer prongs on it. Well, it can't be that hard, right?
I should have some Swede make me a video out on my Game Gear.
Why though?
I don't know. Stream it?
Yeah, okay.
Because emulators are so hard to get, right?
Yeah. Isn't one of the Game Boy or GBA EverDrives can do Game Gear, or what was it?
I don't know.
Like, so you can play them on something, I don't know. I've heard something about it, whatever.
When is the Pokemon All 151 Pokemon tournament? That would be a horrible stream.
That's a 24-hour stream. Well, the speedrun of that is probably a lot shorter. But...
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 hours, but it's just constant glitching. There's no game left.
Yeah, that's not fun. Like, no glitches? Yeah, that would take a while.
And some of it you have to trade too.
Yeah.
151 isn't even possible without glitches.
Without glitching, that's also true. GBA EverDrive can play Game Gear games, but it's an emulator. Yeah, it's something like that. But it was interesting that it can do that. Strategically play. That's actually a pretty cool concept. I don't think 8-year-olds will actually play the original anymore, though.
Ooh, interesting. Going on to Gargoyle's quest.
Yeah, he's doing really well. Smart Alec almost done with Avenging Spirit as well. Can play Master System and NES too. Okay.
Got the 2 hard levels to go still.
Yeah. And it looks like he's not really familiar with Stage 5 or just picked up a really bad guy at the start.
I think he was trying to get the missile guys, but yeah. He ran out of energy.
Yeah, missile guy's pretty good for the boss, I assume.
Apparently they have tracking. So you can just sit in a corner and spam the...
Yeah. I did play this game casually once, but it's been a long time. I don't even know what I used.
I used the mage guy a lot during my blind run. Just because I like the damage output before I knew that the laser guy was the thing.
What's that? Yeah. I just think I tried everybody out. I really don't remember. It's been such a long time. I've been doing this for almost 2 years, like the system challenge, so it's hard to remember some of these games.
I should really continue with the Game Boy stuff.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Anyways, I just get the message from Fiesel that the OOT Championship guys are ready to go.
Alright.
Once again, thank you everybody for watching, for participating, and for helping out. If you want to see a little bit more of this, head on over to Retro... What's it called?
Retro
Gaming Live TV, where you can still see a little bit more of this. And yeah, that's it for today. See you next time, guys.
Goodbye.
Peace out.